Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. Let's make some more loud guitar noises on the Line 6 Helix Stadium XL today. They have just dropped a new firmware update for the Stadium that addresses a long list of reported bugs. On today's video, what I want to do is show you how I've been using the Helix Stadium app, functions like templates and command center, and I want to play through some of the new Agoura amp models that I didn't cover in my first video. My first video will be linked at the end of this video, and if you want to get my Stadium presets and my free IR, that's linked in the video description. So I've got an empty preset at the moment, and you can see a screen capture of the app. The first cool thing about the way the app works is that the Helix Stadium XL and the Helix Stadium have built-in Wi-Fi. So if your computer and the Stadium are on the same Wi-Fi network, you can connect to the app wirelessly, which I've done at the moment. The next thing I'm going to do is make use of the templates function up here. So if we click here and go new preset, there are a bunch of factory templates that you can access on here. I've created one with a bunch of my favorite elements on here. So an amp and a cab with a drive block boosting them, a mod block, a dynamics block, and a wah, then some micro shift, 2 different delays, and this dynamic plate reverb in here. I've also gone through and basically saved all my go-to effects into my favorites list over here. This is such a handy feature on here, and having the favorites list, like on the Helix, on the actual unit, being able to use the touchscreen and just add new blocks is really, really well integrated. So what do I have at the moment? I've got the Agoura 2203, boosted with a clon, a little bit of dynamic plate, and I've got my free IR on here. Let's just hear this with the Les Paul. You can see another new feature of the app in here where you have the ability to have the parameters represented with sliders like the previous generation Helix or as knobs. So I really find it useful in the amp block to use the knobs view. It just feels a whole lot more like actually using a real world amplifier. Same thing for certain pedals, but then I think for reverb and delay, treating them more like a plugin makes sense to me, so using the sliders. But it's really nice having that preference in there. You could also hear the effects of the new hype control in these new Agoura amps. All right, let's do this. Let's try out something super chunky, the REVV 120 Purple on here. I'm going to turn this boost off over here. So it's just going to be, I'll turn the micro pitch and the delay off as well as the reverb. So it's just amp and cab to start out. This is based on a REVV generator amp model, which previously existed in the Helix, but this is the new Agourified version of it. And I think this sounds really good from the get-go. You've got the 2-way fat switch, the 2-way bright switch, the contour switch, and the aggression switches represented in here. Let's start with the aggression on 0. I think the stock settings on here work really, really nicely. And I'll just go through and I won't touch any of the EQ or the gain, but I'll play with the contour, bright, aggression, and fat. That's just Chungus incarnate. Having the switches on there really does remind me of using the real amp on there, which is really nice. There's also a model of the Red channel, which we should hear. But one thing I really like about both of those, but particularly the Purple, is it's a great modern high gain sound without the need for a pre-boost or any post-EQ sculpting. It just does what it says on the tin. All right, let's hear Red, then we'll try one of the 5150 models, these EV Panama. That's pretty cool. I think I prefer the Purple model on there just for the giant Chungus. I should mention as well, I'm using this Multitap Delay in here that I have saved into my favorites over here called the Quattro Delay. Now, one thing, and this is a request if anyone from Line 6 is watching this, that I would really appreciate is, say, being able to have the amp in the knobs mode, but when I go over to the delay, have that set up as sliders. And you can see when I go back to amps, it's set up as sliders. So if there was some way to have a hybrid mode where you can use the knobs view for, let's just say, the amp and the drives, or maybe anything based on a pedal, and then if you want your time-based effects to have the sliders, I would get a lot of use out of that functionality. I'm quite used to using the Helix effects on there. But again, if I use an amp model, I want to twist knobs, or at least virtually twist virtual knobs on there. So you can see the settings on here. The time I've set as a half note, feedback at 50%, bit of diffusion on there, bit of filtering, and then scaling the tap. So we've got one at 25%, 50%, and 75%. That third tap is panned right. Actually, I think there's 4 on here. Yeah, there we go. So that one's about halfway right, that one's about halfway left, and the other 2 are 100% left and right over there. So I think that's the quad tap delay, or just the standard multi-tap. What's it called in the stereo models over here? Multitap 4, if you wanted to recreate those, or again, grab my presets and my favorites over there. All right, I said I was going to try the EV Panama. Let's try the Red. I can't hurt to just hear it at the stock settings, can it? So I'm on the Les Paul still. I might grab another guitar in just a second. I will admit that's not my favorite 5150 model ever. In fact, I think I slightly prefer the legacy version on there. I can do this with the favorites. I'll let you hear my desired settings on here with the new Agoura model, and then I'll flip over to the same settings, or the settings that I've matched using the legacy model. One of the new Agoura amp models that was added in 1.2 is this model of the Marshall Silver Jubilee. I like that they've got all 3 channel options on here, and I've put together a preset that swaps between the lead and the rhythm clip with 2 different models. Before I do this, I think it's worth talking about Command Center, and if you've never used the Helix ecosystem before, this is one of the real strong points about how you manage your sounds on the actual device. So in Command Center, you can basically freely assign any of these switches to a whole swathe of different functions. So I'm using these 5 foot switches across the bottom for snapshots. I've got snapshots 1 to 5 in here. But as you can see, these could be just about any command that you want, and the action whether it's a press, a release, a hold, or a toggle, whether it's latching or momentary can be set up as well for different functions. So you can set up snapshots. You've got MIDI commands if you want to use this as the brain of a MIDI controlled rig, the looper, songs in showcase, hotkeys so that you can send out messages to your computer. You've even got utility functions in there like save, mute all, how you use the onboard stopwatch and what those actions are. So Command Center is awesome. There's also sort of in the top right, you've got this stomp option, which lets you toggle between two different layouts for these switches, Stomp A and Stomp B. I'm currently using Stomp B for presets on there, which I really like. With this update, I believe they've changed how quickly snapshots change as well. So it should be a lot more seamless. Let's hear this Jubilee preset. Stumps today, let's have a listen to some of the cleaner models, in particular these US models based on classic Fenders. I'm also going to use this 1x12 US Deluxe cab in here, and I've got the angle of the mic set to 45 degrees. I can move the position a little bit if I like, along with the distance, a bit of a low cut and a high cut, but I think this one sounds really nice as a companion for the US Lux Black. Stock settings on the vibrato channel, then I'll switch over to normal and maybe tweak it if I feel the need to. The Super Reverb model is very nice. Let's try a different cab with it over here. Maybe go for a 2x12, or if there's any 15-inch cabs in here. Doesn't look like there's any 15s, but let's try the 4x10 US Super, the matching cab on here. I might try a different mic. Let's go the 121. I'll pull it back a little bit. A bit of a low cut and a bit of a high cut on there will not go astray either. Let's just try it at the center. Stuff indeed. I'm going to pull up stumps for now. I will play you all out by adding a rotary and compressor in front of that US Super Black model and the matching cab. Let me know if you've got any questions or requests for future videos with the Stadium in the comments section below. If you want to support what I'm doing here on the channel, I do have a preset pack for the Stadium, which will be getting updates regularly while I've got this unit here. There's currently 19 or 20 presets in there, along with my favorites list and my free IR included in that pack. You can check out the music that I make with my band Ragdoll or my Patreon for some exclusive content as well. Go and grab your guitars and make some loud noises for yourself now. I will see you all on the next one.